Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm actually really excited about. I've been seeing other people post their videos of vinyl records that doesn't exist but should, and they kind of make little mock-ups of them to show like what they could look like if somebody actually pressed them and made them. Some people that I've seen do it are Simply Lily and Megan Wakefield. I've watched their videos and I think they both did an incredible job and honestly had lots of incredible ideas. And I was like, that looks like so much fun. I want to do that. So that's what I've done. I've made 20 different vinyl that doesn't exist, but I think should. However, there is one exception because since making them, one of them has been announced. I'm still gonna share it because I put the work into making it, so I'm still gonna share it, but you'll know which one it is when I get to it. But before I get into the video, I want to ask you all to please subscribe to my channel if you are not already. I post weekly here on my channel about vinyl records and kind of whatever else I feel like making at the time. There's some Taylor Swift content thrown in here from time to time as well. Subscribing to my channel is a free way that you can support me and my content and my videos, and whenever you subscribe, it just boosts my channel in the YouTube algorithm and tells them, hey, people like this channel, we can recommend it to others. So it's a completely free way to support the videos that I make, and it would be greatly appreciated. But with no more of an introduction, let's get on to vinyl that doesn't exist, but I think definitely should. Before I start showing them, I want to share kind of like my process in making these. It was super simple. I went to coloredvinylrecords.com, I believe is the website. I'll link it down below. But they have so many different like colors of vinyls and marble and splatter. So many different things that you probably just couldn't even think of yourself because there's some incredible stuff on there. And so I pulled all of the vinyl colors from there and then I put everything into Canva, and that's where I made the mock-ups with what the cover art could look like as well as like the center labels. I did my best. I'm kind of a perfectionist sometimes, so I'm really happy with the way all of these turned out and I'm super excited to share them. And also some of these are just like fun, like maybe not taken too seriously, but I just think if they existed would be really fun, and you'll see some of those. So yeah, let's get into the first one. And I'm going to sit off to the side here so that I can put the pictures over here and you can see them obviously. But to start with, this is one that I thought would just kind of be fun, maybe not taken too seriously, but would be fun if it existed, is the American Horror Story theme song. I am obsessed with American Horror Story, not the current season or even the last few seasons to be honest, but the original. We talk about Murder House, we're talking about Asylum, Coven, even Freak Show. Like those original seasons were so good, 10 out of 10, and the theme song, incredible. So I think it would look really cool on a 7-inch record. And for this, I chose like one of the promo photos from the very first season, Murder House, because it's the season that put them on the map. It is an incredible season, it has an incredible cast. And so I think it would just be good to call back to that first season. And then it's kind of this like white, black, gold splatter on either just like a milky white or a clear pressing. I think either would be fine. And then for the center, I of course had to use the picture of Tate in the skull makeup when he's walking through the school. We won't go past that and what happens in the show, but if you've seen it, that's a character that everybody can recognize. And I just thought this little 7-inch would be so fun to have, even if it like doesn't ever exist in the future. I think it could be pretty fun. And then moving on, because I'm going to kind of keep these first few, they're all like soundtracks or movie or TV show related, so we're gonna get through all of those first. So that was the first 7-inch. This next one is a movie that I watched recently for the first time. Actually, I watched both of these movies for the first time. The first one is Avatar, and the second one that I made the mock-up for is Avatar: Way of Water. I haven't watched these literally ever, and I just watched them for the first time, as I just said, and they are so good. I don't know why I was holding out, but I'm obsessed with these movies now, and I think turning the Way of Water soundtrack into a liquid-filled pressing, come on, it's right there. The content and material is right there. It should exist. It doesn't, but it definitely should, because a blue liquid-filled vinyl for Avatar: Way of Water makes sense, and it could be done. It should be done. Moving on to one of my favorite TV shows. I have a lot of favorite TV shows, so I might say that a lot, but another one is Heartstopper. Why don't we have Heartstopper soundtrack pressed? I don't know. We have every other Netflix show pressed on vinyl, so I definitely think we need Heartstopper season 1. So many of the songs in this season, and every season honestly, are so incredible, and just having them on vinyl to spin and listen to would be so nice. For this one, I didn't choose like the normal poster where it's kind of split down the middle and they're sitting at their desk. I didn't want to do that. That poster isn't my favorite. So what I did was I found a screen grab from the show itself. When they're both under the umbrella, Charlie is run after Nick, I believe it was, and they kiss in the rain. And so that screen grab is like such a moment from the season. And so I used that as the cover. And then I found a vinyl that is like half clear, half translucent dark blue with some white splatter, and it looks like rain. It matches the cover perfectly and it fits the vibe. And then the center label is them at the beach. And I also think like the cover being them under the rain and then they're at the beach and the center label, it's all kind of like water. There's lots of water happening. And so I thought the vinyl itself looking like the ocean with rain, water vibes, I thought it fit perfectly. And this next one I know has existed at one point. I don't know if it still does. I don't think you can find it anywhere. I haven't been able to. It is the Hunger Games soundtrack and it is on this like fiery red, orange, yellow with a little bit of black smoke in their vinyl. And I just think we need this vinyl. We have the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes on vinyl, and the new one, Sunrise on the Reaping, I'm sure is going to have a vinyl to accompany it. So why can't we go back and repress the original 4 movies, I guess, on vinyl, starting with the first one? I think it just makes sense to me. And this one I think could have a couple different covers. I wasn't really sure what route to go with it, but I thought kind of just having the Mockingjay symbol on the cover with the fire was enough. And then it also just matched the like fire vibe vinyl. And honestly, if this one was made, I would have it in my collection as soon as it dropped. That would be in my cart and it would be in my apartment in my collection. Now, the last soundtrack that is with movies, TV shows, that kind of category is the Scooby-Doo soundtrack. I don't believe this one has been pressed ever. If it has, please correct me. Please let me know where I can find it. Unless it's no longer pressed and it resells for crazy. Don't tell me. I don't want to know. But I think this one looks so cute. I could have found like the movie poster to put on the front, but I didn't kind of want to go that route. You could definitely do something with that and tie it in, but I like this one in the bright, vibrant green, and you kind of just see the bottom half, you know, like their legs and their feet. So like, you know who they are without it being like their faces on the front. I don't know if that really makes sense. It made sense to me. It's a little more subtle, it's a little more clean than the movie poster, and I just really liked it. And then the vinyl itself is brown and a little bit of black swirl to be like Scooby-Doo. And then the center label is like the Mystery Machine blue and green swirls with the orange flowers. I thought it all just tied in perfectly. The green from the cover with the green in the center label, the brown of the vinyl to the brown of both Shaggy's pants and Scooby's legs on the cover. I thought it fit perfectly, and I'm obsessed with the Scooby-Doo movies. I grew up with those. Those are some of the best movies to ever exist. And I would love to have this on vinyl because the music in them, 10 out of 10, honestly. Moving on to artist-based music, we're going to start with Taylor Swift, and I'm putting her in her own category because I have a few of these that I would love to see pressed. The first one is the Evermore Deluxe tracks on their own 7-inch. I know we got the Lakes from Folklore for Record Store Day a few years ago. Why don't we have Evermore Deluxe tracks on their own? I think this 7-inch would be so good. So it would have Right Where You Left Me and It's Time to Go, one on side A, the other on side B. And I just took one of the promo pictures for the album from the album shoot, put it on the cover, and I put almost like a filter over it to make it a little more muted, a little more brown, similar to the actual Lakes ones where it's, you know, black and white photo. It's a little more muted. I kind of wanted to replicate that. So it does have like a brown filter over it to kind of smooth it out and mute it a little bit. And then the vinyl itself is like a tree because she's in the woods still from Folklore and Evermore. So like the brown swirl kind of looking like a tree trunk, I thought was pretty clever and is also right there. And honestly, I think Evermore needs more love, and this vinyl should most definitely be pressed like ASAP. And now this next one is the one where I was saying earlier that I made 2 days later, it was announced. It is the Fortnite 7-inch. I thought of this idea and I was like, duh, this should exist because we got the Fortnite CD, and I was like, why didn't we not also get it on vinyl? It would make so much sense. They could have sold so many copies of it to help boost the song in the album. So this is the mock-up that I made. It's the same cover from the CD that they made. And so I just used that because I didn't want to recreate the wheel, and I don't hate this cover by itself. But then the vinyl itself is like a smoky, like white, gray, black to kind of fit that vibe of the whole Tortured Poets Department aesthetic. And then the center label for this one, I used the shot of her on top of the phone booth when it's raining and pouring, and I just thought it fit the vibe so well. And so I was so happy and so excited when I made this, because I was like, duh, it's right here, this should exist. And then they announced it and I was like, you know what? It's not the one that I made. It still looks good. And you better believe that I will be in line on Record Store Day to try and get that. Who knows if it'll actually happen, because all of Taylor Swift stuff is so popular during Record Store Day, but I will be trying my hardest to get one. And then keeping up with Taylor Swift, the next one that I did is an Anti-Hero 7-inch, kind of sticking with the like lead singles or some of the special songs from her current albums. I think we could have had an Anti-Hero 7-inch with the Bleachers remix on side B, because it was the most popular in my opinion. And one of the chants from the Eras tour was Taylor, You'll Be Fine. So I think putting the normal version on side A and the Bleachers remix on side B just kind of makes sense. And this one I actually made two different variants of, because I liked the second one that I'm going to show, but I was like, I really liked the picture from this first one right here, which is her and herself on the roof, and then Big Her is handing them the drinks or the bottle of wine. And I just loved that photo. I loved the blue, it matched the Midnights theme. And so then I found the like dark blue vinyl with a little bit of white in it, and then the center label is just her again from kind of the same shot and scene in the music video. And I really liked this one with the Anti-Hero font in it. But then the second one that I made, I couldn't decide. I liked both of them, so here they both are. This one is the close-up from inside the house from the music video, and it's just so simple because it's just a shot of her, and then the vinyl itself is kind of a brown to match the vibe that's happening inside the house. There's like wood panel walls. It's just that vibe, you know, and I thought it matched really well. So honestly, I would love to see either of those. This one would still have like the Bleachers on side B. I just think that's the one that makes the most sense to include on the 7-inch. And then moving on to the last Taylor Swift one, it is a full album. It is the Midnights Till Dawn edition. I know a lot of people have been wanting the 3 a.m. edition. I'm like, are we forgetting that there's a whole other edition that includes the 3 a.m. tracks, but also has more? Like You're Losing Me. So why would we not ask for the Till Dawn edition that has everything? The original album, the 3 a.m. tracks, the Till Dawn edition special tracks. That's what we need on vinyl, is this album right here. And I just took the normal like Till Dawn edition cover, except I added in a new photo because I liked this one better, and I thought it showed just like the emotions and kind of the pain behind it a little bit. And so I liked that picture better. And then the disc, of course, is a dark blue like marble with a little bit of black in there maybe to fit the vibe of Midnights. And then the center label would still be that clock that all of the other Midnights vinyl has. I'm obsessed with this one, and I want this one over 3 a.m. because it includes everything. And I think that's the one that is smarter and should be made and released because it includes every song from the era. So moving on, the second half of all of these vinyl, these next 10 are other artists, singles, and full albums. And there's some like special editions because some of these have like anniversaries coming up, and I thought that would be super fun to make special anniversary editions. So to start, we've got a 7-inch from Renee Rapp. One of my favorite songs is Colorado, and so I would love to see that on side A. And then on side B is Colorado Live from Colorado. Personally, I want that. Selfishly, I want that because I saw her here in Denver, Colorado, because I live in Colorado, and hearing that song live was iconic. And so I think we need this 7-inch to exist of Colorado on side A, Colorado Live from Colorado on side B. I think it makes sense, and selfishly, I just really want to see it. Now this next one is a Katy Perry 7-inch. I am a big fan of the album Prism. It is my favorite Katy Perry album, and the singles from it are some of the best singles maybe in her entire discography. If we're also looking at Teenage Dream, obviously those ones are iconic too. So I wanted to make a couple of 7-inches for this album. The first one would be Roar, and it's just a scene from the music video of her in the jungle where she's yelling, and it's got the Roar font coming out of of her mouth. And then the vinyl itself would be like a clear with that pink, yellow, green splatter in it to tie into the cover. I think it's perfect. It was the lead single from the album. It was incredible and it did things and it really put the album on the map to really kick it off with a bang. And so I think we should celebrate that. And I think she should give us some 7 inches from the Prism era. And then the second one that I only did the first 2 singles from it, is Dark Horse. The cover is just a screenshot from the music video, and then the vinyl would be like a marble, like a classic white with kind of black swirl in it, marble pattern to match like a marble column that you might see in a historic place like that. I think that would be so cute. And then because there's so much going on like on the cover with all of the designs and the colors, keeping the vinyl itself a little more simple, I think would kind of balance that out for sure. But I definitely have ideas. I want to do mock-ups for the other singles from this album. So maybe if you all like this video, I can do some of the other ones too. Now this next one is a special 10th anniversary set. We'll start with the 7-inch, which would be Hello. The whole album turns 10 this year. And so I think she should definitely celebrate the hit that was the album 25. Like it made so much noise. It made such an impact and is genuinely my favorite Adele album to date. It is incredible. I love every single song on there, but I think we should get a 7-inch of Hello that really like started the era that was 25 by Adele. And it's all like this muted gray, almost a little bit green theme that she has going on from like the album cover and everything. And I just think getting this on a 7-inch would be incredible and should be done. And then the album itself, I think could be a picture disc. The album cover is iconic. We know every one of her albums is kind of just her front and center. So putting that on a picture disc would be incredible. And I think both this picture disc and the 7-inch would be a great way to like celebrate the 10-year anniversary of probably her biggest album to date. Moving on, this next one is a newer album that just came out in 2024 and I immediately fell in love with it. I had not listened to this person's music before this album. I don't even know if they really were making music or if they just started with this album. It is You'll Be Alright Kid, Chapter 1 by Alex Warren. This is a mock-up that I made. It's got the album cover and then it's got this like really like deep green marble color vinyl with some black in there. And I just thought it kind of fit the album cover really well. And actually this album I made 2 different mock-ups for because I loved both of them. And so this is the first one. And then the second one is this picture disc because I really, really like the album cover itself. I think it's a work of art in itself. There's so much going on in the shot that I think that should be celebrated. Put it on a picture disc with this really cool frame for the disc itself. Stop putting picture discs in PVC sleeves. Give them a proper sleeve to go in so that it's not going to ruin them. And so I made this one that would be like a normal sleeve, except it's got a cutout in the center. I did the same thing for the Adele one. The center is cut out, so it's just like a normal plastic that is safe for vinyl, but then it's got a proper sleeve to go in. And so for this one, I wanted to make the sleeve itself look kind of like the bedroom walls that's on the album cover, and then it's got a black frame around it to match the frames that are in the album cover that are on the wall. So I did everything to kind of tie it all in together, and I just think celebrating the album cover in itself by making it a picture disc would do it justice. But I couldn't decide between the picture disc and the green one because I just liked them both so much, and I think they would both make great vinyl record variants. So you tell me which one you like better, because I love them both personally. Getting to the end, we only have 3 left. This next one is Emotion by Carly Rae Jepsen, the 10th year anniversary edition as well. Emotion is turning 10 this year, which is kind of wild because it's such an incredible album that I think has been continuously celebrated over time, and I think she could do something fun for it. And so this is the mock-up that I made. I definitely think she could do more with it than even what I just made, but I know there was some other color variants of the original album, and then there was the deluxe album that came out with it, which I don't know if it was ever pressed. But going back to the original album, using a different photo from the photo shoot and then using this like bright, vibrant yellow, similar to the very bright and vibrant highlighter yellow of Snow Angel by Renee Rapp. That's one of my favorite pressings, and that's kind of what I envisioned for this one to be like, is that super bright, vibrant yellow, because her sweater does have yellow in it, and I think it could tie in really well with giving us also just a really fun pressing. And I'm sure there's more she could do for the 10th year anniversary of this album, but this is the one that I made, and I would be fine with this one, if nothing else. The second to last vinyl vinyl is actually one that I asked Connor about because I was like, I want to make a video about vinyl records that don't exist but should. Like, is there anything that you want to see? And this is one that he said. It is Cherry Part 1 by Grady. So I took the album cover and I found a vinyl that kind of matched the vibe. It's this like reddish brown, almost like watercolor looking, that looks very similar to the album cover itself. I just thought it fit the vibe perfectly. He was obsessed with it, and so there's that one. I haven't really listened to this album. I don't know that I've listened to it all, but he likes it and he likes Grady, so I was like, yeah, I'll make that for you. So here's this one. If you also have listened to it, hopefully this excites you. And then the very last one that I made a mock-up for that I think would be a perfect vinyl to make, maybe later this year, closer to the holidays. It is a Nonsense Christmas special from Netflix with Sabrina Carpenter. I think we need the music and live performances from that special on a vinyl, and I'm obsessed. This genuinely might be one of my favorite ones that I have made for this video. I like all the ones that I have made. I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back because I think some of them are really incredible and really cute and good, but I'm obsessed with this one because I took kind of like one of the posters for the special itself, put it on the vinyl sleeve, added almost like a green wrapping paper behind it to give it a little bit more color and like pattern and texture to it. And then the vinyl itself, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's like cream and green and it almost looks like starburst. I don't really know how to explain it, but I know there's other pressings that have been done similar to this. I think like Tangled had a special pressing that was very similar but with like a purple, and I found that pressing and that's what I based this off of because I was like, this pressing is perfect for this album and it should be done. So hopefully maybe around the holidays this year, that's like the 1-year anniversary of the special, we could actually get this on vinyl because honestly I think it would do really well. Well, that is it for this video. That is 20 different vinyl that does not exist but I think should. Some of them I think may have been pressed way long ago, like the Hunger Games soundtrack. I'm pretty sure there's one that's already been pressed of that but no longer exists. So I think make something new for it, especially if it's kind of having a resurgence. If you're making new books and movies based off of it, go back and do the original ones. But all of the others I don't believe have been pressed before. I could be wrong. I can only see so much, so if I made something that does exist, just let me know down below. But yeah, I am really proud of all of these ones that I made, and if you loved this video and the concepts that I made, let me know down below if you want to see a part 2 because I've already got my mind spinning and I may already have a couple of mock-ups made that didn't make it into this video but could definitely happen in a part 2. So let me know down below if you want to see a part 2, and also let me know down below if there's any vinyl that doesn't exist that you would like to see. Maybe one of your favorite artists, maybe a band, because maybe I could start making some of those too and including them in these videos, is making some of those mock-ups that you want to see. I think that could be really fun. But I think that's all I have for this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.